Good morning, everyone. Welcome to lesson 15 of the movement meditations. I have got a nice week of lessons planned for you guys, looking at the movement of the legs and how they relate to the rest of the body. Today's lesson is going to be predominantly moving the feet. So when you're preparing yourself for this lesson, if you're watching it later or if you're going to watch it today live, if you could be wearing socks so that your feet could slide on the floor. Obviously, if you've got a wooden floor and there's any potential for splinters or anything like that, just be careful. Maybe have a little mat that you could slide your feet on. But just find some way that it's possible for you to be able to slide your feet on the floor. Great. Welcome. Hope you're having a good Monday morning. Hope you had a nice weekend. I would like to start today just in the same way as normal, just by bringing your attention back to yourself, how you're sitting. And maybe you can just bring your attention to your breathing as well. So take a moment, let your attention come back from the external activities, from kind of getting on time to watch this feed live or, whatever it is you were doing. And just take a moment just to kind of check in with yourself, register that you're sitting. And that in registering that you're sitting, there's some way that some of your muscles can let go. So relying on the structural support of the body, the muscles of the body can let go a little. And then just feel your breathing as you do that. Good. Now, very gently, what I'd like you to do is begin to slide forwards your left foot on the floor. So again, if you weren't here for the beginning, it's useful if you could wear socks so that you could slide your feet. So just slide your left foot forwards on the floor and backwards, and just do that movement a few times. Seeing if you can make it a really kind of smooth quality movement all the way from sliding the foot forwards to sliding the foot back. And it may be helpful for this lesson that you're sitting further forward on your chair so that you have a bit of space between your knees and the chair. And just slide your left foot forward a few times. Slide it on the floor. And notice, how does that make the rest of your body feel? Can you feel the effect of that movement elsewhere in the body? And see if you can keep the foot on the floor the whole time. So there will be extension in the ankle and then some flexion in the ankle as you bring it back to the standing position. Just sliding your left foot away from you and back towards you. And can you do this in a way that feels comfortable and light and easy? And you can keep breathing as you do it. Good. Okay, and then take a rest with your left foot and begin to do the same thing with the right foot. Just slide your right foot very gently forwards and back towards you. And feel any differences you feel between the movement of the left foot and the right foot. It could be that the right foot is your dominant foot. Just like we have a dominant hand, we also have a dominant foot. And just sliding the right foot forwards away from you, keeping the sole of the foot connected to the ground, and then sliding it back towards you. At the same time, you've got your eyes closed, you're paying attention to yourself, spreading your attention through your body as if to feel any kind of sensation or feedback that you're getting from the movement. Your right foot's just sliding forwards, and you could imagine that you're painting a line on the floor. Painting a line away from you and painting a line towards you. And maybe you could imagine that that line has a color. And how straight is that line? Does it have a kind of a slight curve in it? Does it go off in one direction towards the end or towards the beginning of it? Does it widen out? Does the foot kind of tend to rotate in some way as you're moving the foot away from you? Good. Do it a few more times with the right foot. Just concentrate on your breathing, spreading your attention out over your body. Okay, and then take a rest. And just feel how your two feet feel. Feel how they're in contact with the ground after doing those movements. And feel how you sit. You're sitting in yourself. I think I talked last week about the relationship between the feet and sitting, and saying that you know at times in my life, that I would often, while I was at work, sit and have my feet up away from the floor. And through practicing in the Feldenkrais method and kind of returning my feet to the floor, I found a lot more support in my sitting. So some of the movements that we do today and for the rest of this class, for the rest of this week, are related to sitting, but it's yeah, that's kind of just one thing that they're related to. Okay. So now with the left foot, what I'd like you to do is begin to slide the left foot out to the left of you and then into the right of you. So that's away from the midline of the body and then towards the midline of the body. And just see if you can slide the left foot, keeping it orientated forwards so that the toes are pointing forwards, and you'll just slide it out to the left and then back to the middle. And just do that a number of times. As you do it, see if you can continue to breathe and see if you can continue to have your sole on the floor for the whole movement. So there's some adjustment in the ankle that needs to take place. Earlier it was flexing and extending the ankle, and now it's bending in a different way. It's like a side bending. Sliding the left foot out to the left, and just again, see if you can imagine that you're painting a line. You can pick a color, painting a line out to the side with the left foot, and notice again, does it have a straight trajectory? Does it go directly out to the left? Does it have a little curve at the end or at the beginning? And is it smooth movement as you take your foot all the way out to the left and then back to the middle? How smooth is that movement? Good. Just do it a few more times. This might not be an easy movement. It might be a bit difficult. Maybe you can tell me in the chat afterwards if you found that difficult. And then begin to, so rest your left foot, take a little short rest, and begin to slide your right foot out to the right of you. Sliding your right foot out to the right and then back to the middle. Away from the midline and towards the midline. And just see again, can you imagine that you're painting a line? What color would that line be? What shape would it be? How wide would it be? And as you do it, notice what's happening in your hip joint. The place that the thigh and the bone of the thigh, the big bone of the thigh, the femur, joins in with the pelvis. As you slide your right foot out to the right and back to the middle, what's happening in the hip joint? And just do that really softly. See if you can do it gently so that you can notice that. So if you use a lot of effort, if you're kind of making a big effort and this is a strain for you, just try and relax it slightly and do less. As you reduce the effort and the work that you're doing to do this movement, you become more sensitive and you'll start to feel the effects of the movement in more areas of your body. Good. Okay, take a rest with your right foot. Just feel how both feet are resting on the floor now. We've only done 4 different movements. Sliding both feet forward, sliding both feet left and right. And how are your legs and your feet resting on the floor? Is there some sense that the effort of having, or there's some letting go of the effort of the feet being on the floor? Good. And then just a few times, begin to slide the left foot forwards a few times and backwards a few times, just to remind yourself of that feeling. And when you've done it maybe 5 to 10 times, slide your left foot left and right a few times. So out away from the midline and then back in towards the midline. And take that at your own pace. See if you can keep the sole of the foot on the floor. Kind of using a sliding motion across the floor, noticing what shape the sliding makes. And again, feeling the movement that's possible, or feeling the movement that's happening in the left hip joint. That joining between the left thigh bone and the pelvis. And you can play with it. You could go left and right, or you can go backwards and forwards. Just to notice what's happening in the hip joint, the join between the thigh and the pelvis. Good, and take a rest. Just come back to your breathing and feel, maybe now that you've kind of given yourself some impetus to feel down into the hip socket, just feel how that area feels in yourself now. It's very close physically to the sitting bones that we're sitting on right now. So you can see here this bone, the sitting bone. There's 2 of them, one that comes out here and the other one that comes out there. And then you can see here the actual joint, the hip joint, where the thigh bone joins in with the pelvis, is actually very close to these kind of central points. It's a lot closer into the body than we realize. Good. So now what I want you to do is just to slide both feet forwards and backwards at the same time. So you're now making 2 lines going out forwards and 2 lines coming back. And again, see if you can keep breathing and spread your attention out over your body. See if this can involve all of you in some way. Sliding your feet away from you, keeping the soles on the floor and sliding them back towards you. Notice if you can slow the movement down in such a way that allows it to become smoother. Gives you time, gives you an opportunity to kind of feel what's happening and, let go of effort as you do it, like in the process of doing it. Good. And bring both feet back to the middle, and then begin to take both feet into the middle. So you're sliding both feet left and right, but you're taking them both into the middle and then both out to the side at the same time. And again, take your time, see if you can keep breathing. Sliding both feet out away from the midline at the same time. Noticing what's happening in the hip joint. Sliding both feet back in towards the midline. And noticing what's happening with the hip joint. Through the whole process, how smooth is that movement? Is there points where it kind of jumps or it becomes jerky? Or does it feel like a smooth movement for both feet to kind of move out to the side and then back into the middle? And again, imagine that you're painting a line. Good. Okay, and then take a rest. Okay. Now, with your left foot, what I like you to do is begin to paint a circle on the floor so that you're no longer going left or right or forwards and backwards. You're going round in a circle. And as you're painting a circle now with your left foot on the floor, can you keep the sole of your foot comfortably on the floor through the whole process? And maybe you could pick just one direction. I'm currently going clockwise. And as you take your foot in a clockwise circle, just see if you can kind of feel that the movement all the way around the clock can be as smooth and as comfortable as every other part of the clock. And if that means that you have to make the circle smaller or bigger, whatever feels better to you. And notice as you're doing that movement, sliding your foot round in a circle, what's happening in your hip joint. Are you holding your breathing? Is there some kind of tension developing, or is it really comfortable? Are you able to stay kind of neutral as you do this movement? Painting a circle, you can imagine that you're painting a circle on the floor. What color is the circle? What shape is it? Good. And then go in the other direction. Change, go anti-clockwise now, or the other direction that you were going. And just feel how that feels in your hip. Feel how it feels in your ankle. And does it have an effect on how you're sitting? Do you have to change how you're sitting in order to facilitate taking the foot round in a circle in this way? The imagery that I thought of when I was planning this lesson was when you're lying on the beach and you've got your feet in the sand and you're just making shapes with your feet. You can use your feet to draw or push away sand. So just feel if you can do that. Just like imagine that you're drawing a circle now in the sand. Good. Take a rest with your left foot and just see where your left foot comes down to rest now. Has that changed from the beginning of the lesson? And how does your left foot feel on the floor? How does the left side of your pelvis feel? How does the left side of your body feel after doing that circular movement with the foot? And when you're ready, begin to take your right foot in a circle. You can pick whether it's clockwise or anti-clockwise. But see if you can keep the sole of your foot on the floor through the whole movement. Not lifting up your toes, not lifting up your heel, not lifting up either side of the foot. So really you can feel that the work is in the ankle and in the hip socket. Good. And again, maybe, work with whatever imagery works for you, whether it's painting on the floor or in sand or in a puddle. See if you can really make this a smooth movement of the foot going round in a circle on the floor. As if you're kind of tracing out a really accurate, perfect circle. And if you need to slow down and take your time to do it, let your breathing recover at any point, and just see if you can let go of effort as you're doing it. Good. And then take your right foot in the second direction, whatever that was for you. So round in a circle in the opposite direction, whether that's clockwise or anti-clockwise. And just as you're doing that movement, you've got your eyes closed, just see if you can drop down in your attention and feel what's happening in your hip socket. Good. And then you can go in any direction. Maybe you can draw different shapes. If you want, with your right foot, you could draw your name. It's a nice little challenge on the floor. So write your name out with your right foot with the sole of your right foot on the floor. And just see that the right foot can move in any direction that it wants to on the floor. Maybe you need to move your body to help facilitate that. And how light does that feel? How easy does it feel? And it may be easier on the dominant foot than the non-dominant foot. So now what I'd like you to do is write your name again with your left foot. So start slowly, take your time, don't rush it. See if you can keep your sole of your foot on the floor, allowing your body to take part in the movement, your attention to spread. Maybe you need to go slower on the second side than you did on the first side. And can you write your whole name, both first name and surname? Some of you would be aware that I spent some time working with a stroke survivor. And one of the things that I really enjoyed doing was helping him to write his name in different ways. So we did it with like many different things, like a laser pen on the ceiling, and yeah, it's fun. But just feel for yourself, like as you're using your foot, can you use your foot to be dexterous enough to write your name? Good. And then let your feet come back to normal and take a rest. And just feel if your breathing's changed. Feel if your sitting's changed. The attention that you have in yourself, the quality of attention. Feel what's the change? What's the kind of significant change that you feel after the lesson? For me, there's definitely a sense of feeling kind of more grounded and more connected with the floor. And my legs are much more relaxed now than they were when we started. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have some experiences you want to share from the lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Tonight is my regular Monday night Feldenkrais class running from 8 till 9. And I will be back for another lesson looking at the movement of the legs and their relationship with the rest of the body tomorrow, 11 in the morning. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Take care. Bye.